Thank you, Ms. Joanne. We are joined by one of the Iho Resources Executive who is also a marine and freshwater biologist and the board member of the Tourism Congress of the Philippines, na being the Vice President of Mindanao, an entrepreneur who owns various companies, the Cebu Plant Company Garden Center, the Nemo Brew Cafe and Restaurant, and the ALMN Prime Property Ventures Incorporated. Ladies and gentlemen, let's all welcome Mr. Harry Morris.
Hi, Roland. Thank you for your introduction. Very nice to be invited here today.
Yes, hi, Harry. It's really a pleasure also to have you in our show. So today, we will talk about sustainable recovery in the Philippines. Now, first, can you tell us your thoughts on how the Philippines now in terms of environmental sustainability, considering the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, which has changed the different landscapes in our country?
I would say that there was a few good things that came out of it. Obviously, the lack of tourism benefited nature. So some areas were able to recover. Bird populations were able to come back to some of the tourism islands. There was more fish populations, etc. But on the other side, there were a lot of detrimental effects. So during Philippines recovery plan, we have to take into account all of the negative sort of aspects of what happened through COVID. It has to be fixed before we get back on track to pre-COVID situations.
Now we have learned also, Harry, that you have projects that are aligned in sustaining the vision of your organization. Can you share with us and how does it impact your business sustainability, perhaps in some of your stakeholders, particularly the community that you are serving?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd be happy to share. So the first thing to understand is the mindset shift that needs to take place. It's quite difficult for people these days to make up their own minds because they're getting information from all sources from everywhere. If you look at how social media portrays the world, you have trends. Most of the information that is gathered by young people nowadays is from social media. So whatever social media says or whatever is trending, people will mostly follow. So the mindset that has to be changed is sustainability is not just about environmental sustainability. It's also about economic and social. Now, without addressing all three at the same time, it's kind of like having a stool with three legs. If you remove one of them, it's no longer able to support itself. That's where you have to actually look at the environment that you're in and understand what aspects make up my environment. So what is the main economy? What is the environment that we live in? What is the demographic? Who are the people that live there? And how do I tie all of this in together so that it becomes a well-oiled machine?
Now, how do we encourage now our business owners who are listening to us in having this corporate sustainability plan? Because this has always a financial implications also on the organization.
It does, but that's where the mindset switch comes in. Most businesses look at the ROI of about 5 years to 10 years, etc. But what we can do now is look beyond the lifespan of the company, look beyond the lifespan of a person, try and put together a model where your business will still be up and running and operational for 3 generations, for example. So that's about 150 years, 200 years. Think of it that way. Because if you only think of the lifespan, then you don't look at what the impact of your activities will have down the line. Like the producers of plastic, they never thought that the plastic, they didn't think about it, but they didn't see that it would come so soon that plastic would start, instead of just being used for wrapping and recycled, it's just discarded and it never breaks down. They only looked at one aspect, that it's a durable, light, cheap form of packaging, but it doesn't break down in the environment. And now the 3 or 4 generations down the line, we have oceans and rivers full of plastic. So that kind of thinking. Think about how you can, whether your business activities has a full circle. So whatever your product is it truly sustainable in those 3 legs, economical, environmental, and social? Does it benefit community or the local economy, and as well as the macro economy, the local people as well as the larger population, and your local environment as well as the environment, the larger environment around you. Think of those, and I think the solutions will come. It's hard to give like a easy answer to this because
Yeah.
every business is different.
Yeah.
But if you change your mindset from the start and try and think of your business model, the financial aspects, of course, will come into play. But if you expand your ROI or your the lifespan of your business from the start, you'll find that those returns will come back, and then there is no negative impact later on, because
Yeah.
it's cause and effect, Roland. If
Right.
you do something, there's an effect, right? You can either make it positive or negative, and if you're the one who is not dealing with the consequences, someone else will have to, like whether it's tomorrow, whether it's 10 years or 20 years, it will eventually land in someone else's lap.
Yeah, that's right. So it's all mindset. No, we have to do it the very first time, and then eventually everything will just follow. That was
Yeah.
fun, Harry. Now, as we end this session, now please give your final message to our viewers on how we can personally contribute to taking care of our environment.
Specifically to the environment, I think the best. Well, it's difficult now. Okay, I understand the whole pandemic situation is hard. So the easiest way to think of it is your management of your waste. Um, just don't be wasteful, really. Just don't throw away stuff. Obviously, try and help with your work with your LGU so that the trash is put where it's supposed to be. You're not wasteful with food at home. Um, like I said, because of the COVID situation, you just have to try and get by travel-wise. But just try and do small things. Try and be more efficient with your use of water, for example, your use of electricity, your use of plastics. Actually, there are more solutions now to plastic, so it's quite easy to make that shift. And then we can have this conversation again when COVID is sort of not so much of a big factor, and then I
Yeah.
can give you a longer list of how to be more sustainable.
Yeah, that's wonderful. No, thank you so much, Mr. Harry Morris, no, for giving us a highly informative session in a short period of time. We look forward to having you in our future discussions.
Okay, thank you so much for having me, Roland.
Yeah, and that's it for Mask segment. Back to you, Miss Joanne.